Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Raffaella Serini. I'm a journalist. It's a pleasure for me to be here. Together, in the next about 40 minutes, we will explore the future, but also the present of footwear with a special perspective, because we will have on the stage a group of emerging designers. You can visit their stands here on my right. And so let me introduce, I will call them on the stage. First of all, Daniele Bergin. She is from Brazil. She is the only woman here in the group, but you won't be alone with me. She's Brazilian, but she works and she lives in Ireland now. She is the founder of brand Brog, which means, she told me before, which means shoe in Irish language. So she's really in love with the island right now. Then I will call on the stage Marco Castelli. He is a former model, and now he is he launched this luxury fashion brand called Marco Castelli, based in Milano. And then I need a big support to pronounce his name, Chukwuma Ikwirike. He is, he said, is right, good. He is from Nigeria, and he is the creative director of the fashion brand Woman, which is craft and art fashion brand for shoes as well. And then, last but not at least, Simon Michel. He is from France, and he's a part of a duo, because with Rudolf Stefan, they rebranded, they relaunched historic shoe brand in France, which is called Le Plagiste. And so he's told me that he worked as an agent for the brand for 1 year before starting this new era. So it's a nice story also that we will probably talk about. So, guys, don't worry, be relaxed, we will chat, we are all friends right now. First of all, I want to ask you, how can we now, during these days, create new customized shoes and still being, or try to be, sustainable, because sustainability is a huge need of our days. Who want to break the ice?
Okay, I start. First of all, thanks to having me here. For me, it's a very good opportunity, and your question is very nowadays normal, I have to say. I think sustainability is something that we're talking already since a long time. Personally, our foundation is the leather. We are producing our shoes totally made of leather. Of course, as a creative designer, I'm always looking for new materials, new fabrics, and new technologies. But what we are doing is to produce a very limited capsule, okay, not to do mass production, work in quality, because we really believe, I believe also, that it's not only about material that is recycling but it's also about durability, It's also about comfort. It's about something that you can always make a beautiful spa to your shoes and to renew them. So we are working in materials that is expensive. We produce in Italy, of course, and we select each piece all the time, and we follow almost like many steps to finish our shoes. And this is something that takes time, because when you make a production, you have to try them, you have to work on it, you need to see what is good and what is bad. And then when you produce, you understand that there is many people telling you, but you can do this, you can do that. Yes, of course, we can do everything, but it takes time trying, and trying to travel more and more and more, because I'm always inspiring by nature, by universe, and by meet new people that gives me critical and good things about what we can improve. And I think, back to your question, our goal now is to keep going with this fabric that is leather, our foundation. But also what we did a special capsule with Japanese museum that is called Irojije. They have a brand. And what we do with our patterns, we cut the leather, okay, we ship over to Japan, so they make these samurai works, and they ship back to us again. It's a very limited edition pieces, but it's something that gives a cultural link to Japan, and made in Italy. And that's, I think, it's a value, because we need to back a little bit to the past, because past is what makes us the future. That's my motto now. Thank you.
Thank you. Daniele, you want to say something about the transition of materials into more sustainable?
Yes, thank you to have us here. It's a pleasure. Brogue actually blend Irish traditions with a modern twist. We actually, as he said, we use a traditional material like gold leather, petroleum glue, and our aim is to be fully sustainable, but without compromise our quality. And it take a little bit time as a young brand, and it could be a little bit more pricey because the materials, biomaterials, and a bit more expensive as well. So at the moment, we just we have ABS, recycle ABS. That our challenge was to create the unique shapes for our shoes and recycle rubber. And we're still learning and listen. I think there's opportunities very good for us to listen and see how we can implement new materials. Okay, sorry. So, yes.
When it comes to new materials, rare or recycled, which are, I mean, the main challenges about this aspect? Chukuma?
So for me, I would start from sustainability. I know it's an overused term, like everyone is familiar with it. But for me, I've always seen it as a big part of our lives because I create with essence. I don't make things just because I need to make them or I want to make them. I create my designs as compositions, and usually it's to express myself primarily, and that's even the reason why I started my brand. So I believe when you create from a point of perspective of essence or purpose, obviously you make things with intention. So sustainability is it's like part of my DNA. I don't have to define it. So in terms of that kind of shapes how I look at materials. It shapes how I envisage design, production. For example, there's a technique I work with, which I coined. It's called cubimorphism, where I fuse cubism and biomorphism. And this technique for me helps me gauge how I work with fabrics in the sense that it helps me not waste anything. So, I literally keep most leftovers all the time. And this is an application I do to both footwear design and garment design. So this, in essence, is how I look at materials. So for me, it shapes how I want the consumer to see my works, because for me, I'm not just making products. I rarely use the word product somehow because I see my works as like artworks. So obviously when you make a painting, for example, you're not making a painting for 1 million people. So that's the same way I approach footwears too. So I believe each piece the consumer gets is like a work of art that will last a long time. And that's the same way I kind of narrow my production quantity and how I want my works to be distributed. So it's my own perspective about sustainability.
I have a question for Stefan in at this regard, because as we said, you reinvented the already existed brand, which is the challenge to make innovative brand that was already has already a past history in a contemporary way, especially in terms of eco-sustainability.
Hi everyone, thank you to have me here. When we decided to relaunch the brand, we decided to take one style that already exists and to change the shape and make something more by our time. We decided to put a square toe and to keep everything that was necessary. And so our design is very minimalist. And after, we are at the beginning of the brand. So the difficulty was to join what Marco was saying, is to find a factory who can produce small volume. And by producing small volume, you don't have a lot of stock. So it's kind of sustainable because we don't keep stock. We don't have to produce 500 pairs per color if we sell only 100. And I think it's very important, but not a lot of factories are making this. So it's the difficulties when you start a new brand. After we decided to make our product in Spain, we find a small factory, family factory, and our product is a bit special because there is a saccheto construction, which bring it very comfortable style and lightness, but it's very difficult to do. And what we've done, we decided at the beginning to work with all the producers around the factory. So we don't have a lot of shipment to do, air transport, or everything. Everything is made near the factory. So that's our vision to start the brand with sustainability.
Thank you. At this first round, already all of you mentioned craft, handmade style, this kind of hold process, hold way to and precious to do footwear and especially shoes. How it's difficult to find a balance among this kind of process and new technology process? Marco.
Well, it's not easy because right now all we know that fashion industry have a lot of problems. Like if we think about the last years, like if we see the date, like we see everything is going down. But I really think that now people start to understand what is the difference between a name and quality, real quality. So I can say that the hard thing is to find the people that really believe on our projects. I mean, I'm very lucky because I've been in good connection with many people and also because of my connection with different brands, that helps. But I can see that people now only think about numbers. And this is something that we need to understand that, okay, it's important to make numbers, but before to think about numbers, let's make a strategy. I'm a big supporter of Made in Italy, the real Made in Italy. It's not too easy to produce in Italy because in Italy we always need to improve because the prices are different, the materials are different, so it's more easy to produce out of Italy. But for me, what I'm thinking is when we're working on production and we have the right artisan, they can read perfectly what we want to make. And of course, as Italian DNA, I think it's very important to keep going on this direction. And that's not easy. But from the other part, when you find people that really understand the process and they understand what is the material, how you make the steps on the shoes, even, for example, in my project, I collaborate with a foundation in Africa, actually they're Italian, that's called Amici per il Centrafrica, and I'm ambassador of this project. every year we make a gala dinner in Villa d'Este, where with all the money we get during the night, we support this project. Personally, I go every year to Centrafrica Republic in Bangui, where actually we build a school, fashion school. And what I do with this woman that actually they study in Istituto Secoli, the same university where I'm studying now, I make them produce the pockets inside of all my boxes with the shoes. Because I think it's also very important to think about others in the way to give the real opportunity. And that's what I'm thinking the fashion system had to do. Give opportunity, like this project, like Emerging Designer, that is very important, and to try to incorporate a group of people that have the same vibe, the same energy to make this happening. Because everything is about, of course, dream, energy, but also to have courage to do it. You know, like, okay, it's difficult, it's not easy, but keep going, and then for sure things happening. It's always, I think we are what we think to be. That's it.
Chukuma, may I ask you your point of view? Because you mentioned artisans, local artisans from Nigeria, where you live and work. So is there new technology as well that you take advantage of?
So I think technology has its two sides. Obviously, we can't run away from it. But I'm not fixed on fast technology. And when I say fast, when technology is being used at an exponent that becomes a bit harmful. And that's because as a brand, one of my key values is the humanistic side. That's the human touch in creation. So the hands must feel the material. We must cut, you know. We need to communicate. Like when we create within my studio or outside my studio, we have conversations. You know, these are not things you can do with a machine. So I still enjoy very much the hand aspect or human aspect, you know. And then technology, obviously, we try to work with any tools that can help make the work easier. However, that won't, the balance must always be there whereby it doesn't supersede the craft, the artisans, you know, the creative process. For me, the creative process is a moment of grace which I look forward to every time. And it's the same feeling for the artisans. Like the shoes I have here are made from a Nigerian textile called Ashoke. And then it takes time to weave these fabrics, you know, and it's a very sacred process whereby you have these women from the southwestern part of Nigeria and some north central part of Nigeria, you know, where there's a process, there are conversations, we look at color, you know, there's a bit of history, you know, there's a bit of sensitivities as to how this fabric is made. You know, these are not things technology can offer you. So I'm very, very, very much interested in having the balance between new technologies and still sustaining our old craft.
Daniele, when we spoke before, you say that your aim is still to make comfortable shoes, even if your shoes are also with heels. So normally we don't think about them, about comfortable footwear. Which is now the biggest challenge to still produce such a kind of shoes, but also being with unconventional materials, new technologies. How can you find?
Yeah, actually, the challenge was, I think everybody here going to agree, is to find a factory that's going to partner with you. It's not only actually about numbers. As a young brand, we face a problem, a challenge to find a factory that could work with high-end quality and with small numbers of production. Because most of the factories say, okay, 300 pair of shoes per style. And it's quite hard for us to go and Now we are happy. We found very good factories in Portugal, and we can achieve the high-end products with a high-end quality as well. And yeah, there was a lot of talent, and they actually work close to the artisan is very important, because and then we can shape better our designers and to achieve the final product. And actually, when I was searching for the next collection, we I think to incorporate memory foam and the insole to be more comfortable. I think that's going to be very important, and make like a very thin layer, because memory foam can be a bit thick. And I think that's going to be important to make our shoes more comfortable.
Stefan, you have an idea about that? Because you also say that comfort is very important. Is the
Yeah. Yes. I take this. Sorry. For us, yes, it was the first thing was to have a very good comfort when you put your feet inside the shoe. So that's why we choose the Saketo construction, and we choose also to do the shoes all with leather. We will have no other fabrics. And we have already made one change, because the outsole that we can see, at the beginning, it was in leather. And when we met clients for the winter collection, they say, okay, it's really nice to have leather sole, but when it rains, and it will be a bit particular and not easy to wear. And we didn't think about that at the beginning, because we were thinking product, and after we have to listen to people also, even if we have our own way of creativity. And so we already make a change. It's in rubber now, but it could be part of the innovative process, because we are looking for something maybe in an innovative material, which could be really light and flexible because of the Saketo. And we begin to look after some new material like that to make the product evolve and keep all the traditional work around.
yeah, you say it's like a glove, no?
Yes, it's like you have to try. It's like you put your feet inside, and it's like a glove for your feet. It's really comfortable. And we can also add, I think, memory foam inside to have more comfort. Yes.
In terms of new needs or special needs of clients, customers, I mean, you are quite new in the field, so I'm sure that you pay a lot of attention to what especially the younger generation looks for. So, can you just give examples of what you think are the new wishes, new needs, new desires of youngest people?
Okay. Well, that's it's very important nowadays. As I said before, people now really care about what they're buying. You know, they really care. They're looking why to buy this product, why to buy Marco Castelli, why to buy, you know, a brand. Exactly. Yes. Yes, yes. And yeah, the thing is, then people come, they look the shoes, and they say, okay, as you said before, and mentioned, it's very important. When we designed first time and the show of my first collection, they said, okay, but if it's raining, what is going on here? So then we change the sole under to have more grip, for example. And I think what is very important and what people asking now is, of course, comfort, style, but also they want something that have durability, and also to feel like air on the foot when you walking, and you feel like, okay, it's also transparent, you know, like that you have like this kind of comfort, because every.
Sensation.
Yes, exactly. And another thing that now I see, of course, people are caring also very caring about the price. Price point is very important. Why? Because maybe a customer come and say, "Wow, I love this shoes. How much?" And then there is another, point, because when we produce shoes, if you want to do high quality, you invest on materials, on production, and that is hard. Also because now, like when you have to enter to the market, whether to sell in department stores or to buyers, you need to have a start price point that actually can match everyone. And yeah, the difficult has many, but I think the plus is when you have a story to tell, when you have the right product that you work, you feel super comfortable. For example, I think also the perception, no, when you wear a shoes that you want to feel like very comfort. Like for example, memory foam are very important. Now there is many new technology that we can use inside. Also the fact of the sole, for example. In our case, people buying mostly now leather sole because they understand that by time they can always anyway change the shoes, because there is now is also people are starting to buy a shoes and then they want to restyle them. It's also this new trend. So yes, it's not always easy, but I think if you have the right product and you keep pushing and the right people see that, then it's go with the flow. Yes, that's the thing.
Daniele, what about women side? What do they ask now? What do they?
I think the first thing is be comfortable because you're going to be standing your shoe probably all day. And I'm really listening my customers, and because I'm not tall, so I like big heels. And then I just realized they like maximum 8 centimeters, 10 centimeters. That's making them more comfortable. Our brand is the aim is to be elegant and comfortable. I think we need to combine these two words. And yes, like that's why I think memory foam is going to be very important because it's going to help you to relieve the pressure and it's going to make the shoe very comfortable. At the moment, you use a goat leather because it's flexible and very thin. Example, I have a customer, she has bouillon in her shoes, and then she bought a pair of her shoes. She said, then it's incredible comfortable because it stretch a little bit and shape. And yeah, I think for everybody, I think be comfortable is the main thing to have a good brand of the shoes.
Okay. You want to add something?
Yeah, so for me, comfort is primary. No matter how interesting a design is on paper for me, it must always travel through sort of like a design system where I reduce it to the simplest form, and also not lose out on the aesthetics. Because obviously the function must always supersede the aesthetic or design, So that's one thing I bear in mind. And I kind of look at one key aspect of footwear design, which is, like I said at the beginning, the essence of why I'm creating it. So one interesting thing about my works is that each piece has a story. So when you understand that, and I feel like nowadays people want to know what's behind this work. People want to feel a sense of connection to something beyond materiality. And that's something my brand is known for. I've always done that from the beginning, whereby I use I'll call them like sort of like a canvas, the footwear or garment, to tell positive stories. So you'll be surprised that you're wearing a footwear that's talking about unity. It's talking about the beauty of traveling. Before I came, or while I was working on this project, I started exploring a topic which is the artistic side of walking. When we walk, we don't think that it's an art. We just think it's a mechanical aspect of our lives. So these little things are things like, or key things, are elements I incorporate in how I design and how I want the customer to feel. And I'm always ready to hear from the clients what they feel about their pieces when they buy them. You know, how does it make them feel? And when they know the story behind these pieces, how does it make the wearing experience better? You know, there's a key thing I also look at. I noticed it or learned it from clothing. It's called encoded cognition, whereby there's a relationship between your brain and then what you're wearing or how you feel in a garment. But I'm still going to extend that to how people feel or how people's legs feel in shoes. You know, so these key things are very important values I look at when I design, and also how when I try to approach customer satisfaction.
Thank you. Um, you mentioned the personal way to wear also a pair of shoes. I want to take advantage because you come from very different and wide personal and cultural background. So I'd like, as a very last question, to ask you which aspects of your personal roots you put in your piece of work, Stefan.
I think for us it's simplicity and authenticity. It's really, I think when you look at the shoes, you can see it's like a simple shoes, and when you put your feet inside, you know that there is a lot of work. That's it. After, I have a big background in the shoe industry, but not as a designer, as a manager and for a big brand. But now it's a new adventure, and we have to think differently. And it's not only selling a product, but it's to make the product that people will like. And today we have to learn what the consumer want, and it's not only a product. You have to be, as you said, all comfortable. That's what they are looking for. Sustainable, because it's very important nowadays. But they are also looking for the image of the brand. And now you have to speak. You have to put your image in front of the brand and show who you are and why you do that, and maybe show what you do when you are not creating, because people want to know everything which is is behind the brand. Yes, and it's not only designing footwear.
Totally agree with you. I think this is very important now. I mean, for myself, actually, I didn't want it to be a designer. Everything happens to me. I mean, since I was little, I was always modify clothing. And my mom was screaming at me, "Marco, what you doing? This is just a new shirt." I said, "Mom, but I wanted to change a button, cut the collar. It's okay." But yeah, then actually, time by time, my passion was always bigger and bigger. I was lucky because I was discovered from a person that discovered me in Sicily, and actually he asked me to do a fashion show for a brand. In the beginning, I said, no, I'm not really, I'm not feeling to do, this. But then I said, okay, I try. And by after, actually, many agencies in Milano asked me to come and start with modeling business. And from there, actually, when I started to work with big brands, with Genius, I understand that actually fashion is not trends, really. Fashion is different. Fashion is about timeless style, but also quality and comfort, and not only in terms of shoes, but in everything, and also to be practical. When I start to make the first money with modeling, I was always going to wear myself bespoke. So I was love to go to the tailor man and ask him, okay, I want this coat, must be like this, this. And this was the key. And then this happening with me that my baby born, because people were asking me, okay, where I can buy that, where I can do this. When I met this family that they really wanted to buy it, they buy it, I bring to the tailor, And that's how I started everything. When then I moved to New York, where I was stay for 6 years to work there. Actually, I started thinking about something else. And in 2021, I was said, okay, maybe I need to create something new, as shoes. Uh, something that can be easy for traveling, something comfortable, something that can be okay with traditional Italian, but international. And that's why I decided to make this special footwear brand, because for me it was important to have like the sabot style, because I'm traveling very much. I was doing like New York, Paris, Tokyo, always around the world. So for me, it was very important to have a sabot always with me, so to have something practical. And then I decided to launch it, and now I'm here, So, but it was, just a way of energy and things how move and smoothly. So now I'm here with this project that I really believe it's my baby, and I think there is just need to be patient and work as much as we can with all with bad and goods, ups and down. But this is life, because if everything is flat, we are dying. So I think it's very important to keep going and never give up. And I think here we are very beautiful people with a good group. I see beautiful energy. That's what's for me counting, because in our field, in our work, we are always lucky to meet new people. And we can always sharing idea and growing. That's the best thing. And I'm very grateful. So, yes.
Thank you. Daniele, you also have double
Yes.
international background.
Exact. Ireland and Brazil is completely opposite countries. But I just fell in love with Ireland 20 years ago, and very inspiring country, especially the culture. So the idea to create Brogue was blend the Irish heritage with contemporary designs. Once I decided to develop the collection that's called Grace O'Malley. Grace O'Malley was a pirate queen 500 years ago. And then the connection that I had was she used to using ropes and knots to hold her boat. And then my shoes that I design now, the ropes and the knots is we using to hold the shoe in our foot. So that's how the inspiration come. And like the core values of Brogue is elegance, heritage, and empower. So when someone wear our shoes, we want them to feel empowered and comfortable, and some unique piece that every shoe tell a story.
Chukuma, you have the responsibility to close our chat. What do you like to say about it?
So, yeah, I'm trying to question again.
The cultural background, the
Yes.
personal roots that you put in your work.
Well, I think I can't make anything with that doesn't come from my soul. That's the first thing. Everybody who knows me knows that when you see my creation or design or concept, you would always know that this was done by Chukuma. There's always a link between me and whatever I create. And that's because I create from a deep sense of purpose and love for what I do. For me, for so many, it can be a career like a job, but for me, this is my daily life. So you would literally find me drawing randomly anywhere. And that journey between creating art, and translating it into a product is something I very much enjoy. My culture is a key part of everything I do. I feel like I've been in a romantic relationship with Africa since I was born, so I feel like my continent gives me everything I need, the inspiration, the materials, the nature, color, music. So there's so much for me to create from, and I just tap from that and translate it into the works you see, either as footwear or as garments or bags or whatever it comes out as. you know. So, and also I because of my work is very deep in research. So I'm constantly studying, trying to know, okay, what was done in the past? How can I reinvent it? How can I come up with a new technique? How can I make people see something they are familiar with in a new way? You know, so my creative process is so fun for me. Like, and when I always want that when the customer or consumer buys the product, that they feel what I was feeling while creating that. And it's not just me, you know, even the artisans. I'll give you a story. There was a certain time we were making a material, um, and we had chickens and like chickens and like what like I don't know the name again, but they were moving around, you know, and it was funny to see. There was also a cow just around the corner, you know. So I called the artisan who was working, and I said, "Come, how do you feel about what is going on?" And he said, "Oh, the creative process is different. Like I feel awkward." And I said, "Don't worry, I know what you're feeling, because I had already kind of immersed myself in what was going on." So, you know, these beautiful experiences and stories, conversations are things I kind of know how to translate into the things people see as products, the shoes, the garments, you know, and I like to write about these experiences. So I have books about my works, you know, so just so when you buy them or when you see them, you know what is behind it, you know. So that's it for me.
You did it perfectly. Thank you.
I also skipped certain aspects, sorry.
No, it's okay.
I went to medical school, so also you would find,
Some
yes, inspirations from
anatomy or
human anatomy. It's funny, I hated human anatomy as a course in medical school, but I'm inspired by the female form. In short, my name, woman, it comes from my first name, Chukwuma. But I added an N to it because of the inspiration I get from the female form. So when you see a lot of my works, you would notice that there are some kind of curvy shapes. There are some motifs, particular motifs you would see, you know. So this is basically like the elements I put together to create what my brand offers.
so. As I said, we are done. I recommend you to visit their stand because they are right on my back. Thank you, Chukruma Ikwirike of Woman,
Thank you.
Simone Michel, Le Blagiste, Marco Castelli of Marco Castelli Fashion Brand, and then Daniele Bergin of Brog. Thank you for staying with us today.